Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Look Forward. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Brad. Hi, Brad.
Hello, Jay. We have a lot of stuff to get to today, but I wanted to just start by kind of opining about how this government currently manages to find new and exciting ways to really piss you off that you couldn't even think of really in advance. And so the reason we're late this week, and it ended up working out okay from a content standpoint, at least. So there's, silver lining there. But the reason we're late is because we had a sudden pet death in the family earlier this week that was unexpected, which really fucking sucks. And it definitely threw us into asunder in the household all week. And yet, as I'm grieving, as one does, underpinning my grief is guilt. And it's just like, why the fuck do I feel guilty about being sad about my fucking cat dying when when we weren't expecting that to happen at all, completely out of left field? And it's because I can't help but look to see all of the destruction that's being wrought, by this administration, by this Congress, by this Supreme Court right now, and not feel that my issues and the thing that I'm sad about is fucking trivial compared to everything else going on. So on top of being very sad and upset about, all the stuff that's going on, I now also get to feel guilty because I'm just at least I'm not fucking getting deported out of the country or losing access to my Medicaid or, stuff like that. It
Being
feels
shipped to a concentration camp.
Yeah, it feels pretty benign compared to all of that shit. And as I'm trying to grieve, getting just, scrolling social media and being inundated with being bombarded with this shit going on. It really fucking sucks. I miss the days where you could afford to just unplug from the news of the day for a couple days to be in your own shit and not have to worry about this stuff. So
yeah, no, that we had that luxury for a very, very long time. And then sort of 9/11 happened, and then that changed, right? Because then we went to war, and then it's you probably shouldn't turn off considering all the horrendous shit that's going on. And then we got a bit of a reprieve during the Obama years, and that felt pretty good. You're like, cool, I can pay attention, but everything is not in chaos. So I hey, take a week off.
Yeah, every day is not fucking make or break.
Right, exactly. And then we had 4 years that you were not allowed to take off. Actually, even before that, I would argue it's probably more like 4.5 to 5 years of just complete chaos under Trump and his run up to becoming president. Then we got a nice 4-year reprieval, which was really nice, and it felt good. And I'm sure collectively people's blood pressure went down, even for the right. Right? I know they pretend like it was the worst 4 years of their life, but bro, nobody was worried about if there were going to be nuclear missiles flying across the world. They just weren't. That's just not a thing. And now we're back to another 4 years ? Of whatever the fuck this is. Look, I hear you as far as not being able to kind of pull back a little bit and actually live your life. You have to be, this sort of looming nightmare is always there. But I have a different take. My take is this, and I'm sure actually ultimately this is probably a part of your take as well, is I don't want to hear shit about equality between the parties. I don't want to hear anything about maybe one party is letting it happen, because they're not fighting hard enough. I don't give a shit about that. I saw a statistic. I think it's 89 million Americans didn't vote in the last election. Fuck you. Straight up. Up.
I do love the people on the left who are just we've taken the weapons away from the Democrats. Why aren't they stopping this? Fucking
I got
how?
into literally I got into literally 4 arguments, 4 different arguments on Reddit. People are like, just do something. I'm like, exactly what is the procedural thing you would like them to do? That is my default obnoxious response.
What they can do is what Hakeem Jeffries did today and just hold the floor for an
insane
amount of time just to stall things from happening.
That's
but
it.
At some point,
that's what they did in the Senate. That's what they did in the Senate as well. Schumer was like, Go ahead and read the fucking bill, right?
Right.
So,
I think and we share just as much blame for this because the terms are the terms. And so like I think it would help to talk about stuff like this. Like when you do talk about things like this, like with your friends and your family, appropriate the credit to the people that it's due. So like when you talk about this bill being passed, don't say Congress passed the bill.
I agree.
Say Republicans passed the bill, because not a single Democrat in the House or the Senate voted for this bill to be passed. And they say, well, Congress, like Democrats said, yeah, they didn't vote for it. Like Republicans did this by themselves. So let them enjoy all of the credit or blame that goes.
It's all blame.
Well, it's going to be like
once
people actually realize what the fuck's going on. So
yeah, and look, man, I have to say I'm just genuinely very angry. Not at it's not even this bill passing, and it's going to go to the president's desk, and I mean obviously he's going to get out his fucking big Sharpies because he writes like a fucking
he's got a whole fucking shindig planned for tomorrow, because nothing celebrates the day that we declared our independence from a tyrant than a tyrant signing the legislation that he bullied over the line into effect. So,
well, he's going. Ironically, he gets to declare independence from doing his job or independence from the law, basically, right? Because what is going to happen when he signs this law isn't just some fiscal issues. Which, by the way, this is not shooting America in the foot. This is, as someone said, this is shooting America in the chest. Okay, there is $4 trillion hole blown in the fucking $4 trillion worth of debt added to the deficit. If you're not mad at this, it's because you're not paying attention, or you're so exhausted from being mad, which is definitely a thing too. I recognize that. I need everyone to realize that people are going to suffer in ways that you do not realize even now. And there are a lot of, and somebody online made a really good point, and I think it's worth noting here. A lot of this shit is going to go into effect right after the midterms. So if Democrats do somehow pull out the ability to take both chambers or the House or what have you, understand that this is designed in a way to then point the finger at Democrats and go, see what they did. It doesn't matter what legislation they do or do not pass. It doesn't matter anything. When things start to fall the fuck apart, understand what it is. It is timed on purpose. There was a reason that the tax cuts were timed to go across even 4 years of Biden, so that when it blew up in his face, you could blame him. There was a reason that Trump signed that fucking deal with the Saudis to slow production, and that production would end while Joe Biden was president. That was on purpose, that in case he lost, that the other guy would get fucked. If he won, he would just be like, hey, change that. And so he'd be fine, right? Understand that this is not happenstance. This is on purpose. Republicans are fucking useless, period. Period. And if you say, oh, you mean Republican voters or you mean Republican politicians? Yes. I don't know what to say to a group of people who pretend to be fiscally responsible that will sign off on quite literally the top 1% getting $1 trillion in tax breaks. That is not me making that up. That's literally what they're doing. It is $1 trillion.
Literally almost 1-to-1 paid for by pushing people off of Medicaid and eliminating as much as they can of the social safety net that exists in this country.
By the way, a lot of people were talking about the Medicaid cuts, and we will talk about them. Just so we're clear, this also does damage to Medicare as well. Okay, I want people to understand that the passage of the big, beautiful bill will also force mandatory sequestration that will mean $500 billion in Medicare cuts. Right? They don't advertise that shit because That's his constituency. But they're going to lose $500 billion in funding in Medicare because of this bill. Are you still convinced that it's both sides? Because 13 to 17 million people are going to lose health care under this. Show me the Democratic equivalent to that one. Show it to me, please, by all means. Oh, both sides, they're just letting it happen. Really? Okay. On what planet does that make sense? So I'm already sort of past being nice to people that vote for this type of shit or support this type of shit, or who are sort of ambivalent about this. But I'm 2 steps past that, or 2 standard deviations past my anger last week. Okay. Mm-hmm. Watching Republicans literally go, I don't know about this bill. Hey, would you like some fucking concentration camp merch and a signed picture of the president? Oh, yeah, I would. Cool. Is he going to put his small penis in my mouth, or just he's going to send me a picture of it in my mouth?
I know we're skipping. I know we're skipping around the docket a little bit, but I feel like it's important to
fucking annoying
underscore the idiocy behind a lot of these Republicans who were like on the fence about this stuff. Like, you literally had senators
on the fence. They were never on the fence.
Sure. Like in reality, yes. But you literally had senators when they passed the bill out of the Senate. Like Lisa Murkowski had a viral clip this week because she voted for the bill. And on her way out, doing interviews on the way out of the chamber after voting for the bill, she's like, yeah, I hate this bill, and I hope the House doesn't pass it. And it begs the question, if that's the case, then why the fuck did you vote for it?
So her argument was that when they came to Medicaid cuts in Alaska, they were like, these are the cuts we're doing, across the board, guess what's happening, right? And she's like, no, whoa. I don't like that. I care about the 9 people who live in Alaska. This is really important to me. It's me, those other 9 people, and some Eskimos or what have you, right?
And Sarah Palin.
Right. And fucking salmon, right? And bears and shit. So I hear it's lovely. But she came out and she was like, hey, you don't have my vote on this because I care about the people of my state, unlike all the rest of you pieces of shit. And I want to carve out so that my people or they promised, they were like, hey, we'll do a carve out. Don't worry about it. It's like 9 people in Alaska. We got you. We're fucking, you're A-okay. And she was like, oh, great. Okay, cool. As much as I hate everything else in this bill, cool, you saved my people. So fuck the entire rest of the country. And when she signed on to that, they got her vote. She fucking voted for it. They immediately were like, hey, did she vote for it? Cool. Take all of the shit that we promised her out. So not only did she fucking turn her back on the rest of the country to protect the 9 people who live in fucking Alaska, you didn't even get the shit for the 9 people who live in Alaska, and they got your vote. You dumb fucking bitch.
Right. And as she's talking about her opposition to the bill after she voted for it, like, she literally says, I know that there's going to be a lot of people in the country that are disadvantaged by what's in this bill. And again, it begs the question, you like if Lisa Murkowski had said no, the bill would not have made it out of the Senate, which is ultimately why she voted for it.
Yep.
But again, like, you can't vote for something and be like, yeah, I hope it gets killed in the House. Well, then why'd you then don't fucking vote for it? Well, yeah. Like, literally, what is your job? Literally, what is your job?
It's mirrored by the SCOTUS, because that's what the same thing they fucking did this week.
Right.
Which is insane.
And if you think that's dumb, it gets dumber in the House, because there was reporting throughout the day today, at the beginning of the day, that there was as many as 20 Republicans who were no votes on this on the Senate version of the bill, because the Senate version somehow worse than what the House passed a couple of weeks ago. Like, amazingly, like, you'd think that it would get more sane in the Senate. Somehow it went even more batshit in the Senate, which is unfathomable, but okay. So you have 20 House Republicans that are like, we're not on board. We're going to withhold our votes for this shit. as Jay alluded to, many of them convinced by getting swag from the president to be like, hey, like, I know you don't want to fuck over your constituents, but how about some merch that's signed by me, Donnie T? And they're like, well, that's all I fucking needed. Can I get one of those sweet Trump watches and Trump phones and a pair of Trump sneakers to go with that? And he's like, yeah, absolutely, sure. Like, you know, here, I got him to the White House. Cool, I'm going to vote yes on this shit now. And they're literally going on television.
They didn't change anything. They didn't change any. They didn't even ask for concessions. Nothing.
Yeah, change nothing. Then they go on TV.
Fucking unbelievable.
And talking even in friendly confines, like on Fox and shit like that. And they're going on TV and being like, hey, like, you were a no on this. What changed your mind? Because the bill is exactly the same. And they're basically saying, yeah, we voted yes for this because the president assured us that the worst parts of the bill, he's just not going to implement. So Congress is basically saying, hey, we're going to go ahead and vote on this legislative framework, and we're going to give it to the president, and he can do whatever the fuck he wants with it. He can implement it, not implement it. It's literally the same logic that they're using with the TikTok ban, where they know they can't get Congress to repeal the TikTok ban. So Trump's just like, well, I'm just going to tell the DOJ not to enforce the ban against any of the app companies. And that's how we'll do that. Even though if you like, the whole point is that you have a Congress that makes the law and they say, hey, this is the law, and the president signs the law,
and then you fucking follow it.
And then the president enforces the law. Like, that's literally the sole descriptor of the job. So at this point, if Congress is going to be like, hey, we're going to pass bills and the president's going to sign them into law, and then he can pick and choose which parts of it he likes, and we can do that. We don't have a democracy anymore. We have a king. We have a king that has a court of advisors that are like, hey, this is what we think you should do. This is what we think will be a good idea. And the king's like, well, we'll do this because I think that's cool, but I'm not a big fan of this. So we're not going to go ahead and do that. And the blame, and again, like, everyone knows what they're doing. Congress is saying, hey, this is on the president so that they don't get blamed when shit goes sideways. And then the president's, when he inevitably fucks up, he's like, oh, this was in the bill. Like, this, this is what they decided was the smart thing. Like, there's another story that came out where they basically, like, Trump was having a meeting with a lot of these folks, and he basically tells them, hey, like, whatever you guys do, like, the key, if you want to win elections, the key is you can't touch Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. And they literally had to tell him, but this bill affects Medicaid.
Yeah, which was a perfect reference on Blue Sky. It's like, but Black Dynamite, I sell drugs in the community. Be that as it may.
So Trump doesn't even know what's in the fucking bill.
He doesn't know what's in the fucking bill. He doesn't know what's in the bill. He doesn't know.
So we don't have a Congress. I mean, and, like, as long as Republicans are in charge, we don't have a Congress, because they're just like, whatever, like, we're going to pass whatever we have to do. And then if he doesn't want to do it, like, again, this Republican Congress, like the Republicans in Congress, has said they're fine with him impounding money that they allocate toward specific uses, which is illegal. Like, he's not allowed to do that. Impoundment is profoundly illegal, and the Republicans are like, whatever, bro. Like, he's the boss.
I mean, quite literally, why did we even leave the fucking British Empire at this point?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess King George and fucking Hamilton was right. You'll be back. Like, you know what? Maybe we will. What the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, he was 250 years late on that prediction, but that shit came in eventually.
Look for him. Look, technically, being technically right is the best form of
the best kind of right. Absolutely.
Right. So, like, to me, I just don't even understand what the fuck the argument is for people saying, I don't know, man. They all seem to be the same.
Well,
one is literally fucking against the democracy in which you live in.
I have the answer for you. I have the answer.
They're dumb? Is that the answer?
They're fucking stupid. That's the fucking answer. Again, people are dumb. And again, like,
are we allowed to say that? I thought don't we have to be like deferential and protect? That's the thing in politics that I will never fucking understand. Is, let's all pretend the American people, I love when politicians say that, the American people are smart. No, the fuck they're not. Okay, they're not. Yeah, most people read at a fucking 6th grade or below reading level. They're not that smart. A lot of people
and look, if
dumber
you're
than
out
shit.
here being like, man, like the jaded level on the show is really increasing the 6 months. You know what? You're entitled to some cynicism. Have some for free.
Yeah,
you've certainly earned it over the past.
hey man,
over the past
look,
6
we're
months.
serving it up.
Yeah.
We're serving it up hot and fresh today. Okay, like that idea of like, oh, they're really smart. No, they're not. They're not. Okay, they're not. Never forget that this is one of my favorite fucking things of all time. Never forget that, what was it? Burger King, I think, or Wendy's or something. They used to have like the 3rd pound burger, or like something like that. And people thought that was smaller than a quarter pounder. So that's why they stopped selling it. The smartest country in the world. No, the fuck it isn't. Okay? It isn't. My daughter understands fractions better than these people. Okay? And she's 6. Like a little pizza, right? But we have got to stop with the bullshit of like jerking Americans off and telling them how great and brilliant they are. They are making massive mistakes. Massive mistakes. And look, I'll be quite honest. I'm sure that you are probably sick of them, but I got to tell you, white people are getting on my fucking nerves. Okay, I've had about as much as I can take. Holy shit!
I was gonna say, like, I cannot say this because to say it would sound ridiculous, because obviously, like, I will never experience like what it is to fucking be a different race in this country other than white. Like, I can't fathom that, but I understand now just the complete lack of regard for your fellow countrymen, because you know that they're just gonna fucking let you down every time. Like, even though you're doing the right thing.
Yeah,
that I do understand.
Yeah,
now,
look, it's white men. Disaster. Okay, like this disaster. Your voting records are horrendous. Not all of you, but the vast majority.
As a populace, yeah.
As a block,
it looks real bad. Real bad.
As a block, you guys are not doing well. You are not sending your fucking best. I can guarantee you. Okay, white women, you are also not sending your best, and you should
slightly
fucking
better.
Slightly better, but not by much.
Not good enough. Not
by much. You had 2 fucking opportunities and you fucked it up. So here's my thing. White people in America are so unbelievably short-sighted when it comes to the mere idea of sharing prosperity in the United States that they are literally willing to destroy it.
Yeah.
If I can't have it by myself, nobody's getting it. Wait.
Oh, brother.
But nobody means me too? Holy shit.
That's the fucking motto of whiteness throughout fucking history.
Absolutely. 100%. Burn it down. Why? Well, there's
a British there's a British like colloquialism that, like, if you give a Briton like a choice between his happiness or someone else's misery, he'll choose someone else's misery like every fucking
100%.
Hardwired. Americans are no different. Like white Americans absolutely adopted that specific bit of psyche from our friends across the pond. So.
I mean, here's the thing. I saw there was some sort of commentator or political pundit or what have you. I recognize his face, but I don't know his name, unfortunately. He's a white dude, and he was like, "Listen, I'll be quite honest with you. Trump governing in the way that he's doing now in his administration, it only leads to an easier path for a president AOC. And he's 100% correct at a certain point, because we are going to get to a point where even Republicans are like, wait, what the fuck is going on? And they're going to look around and you're going to see a bunch of rich people fucking shoot money guns and shit.
Bill Kristol is on Al Gore's internet saying we need to defund and abolish ICE. Like, there's video clips of him
shit, are you
going
serious?
around of Bill Kristol being like, ICE does not need to be a thing anymore.
Hell yeah. ICE. but this is inevitable. It's inevitable that people are going to slide. And look, good, by the way. I think that's great. But it is inevitable that when you behave this way, there's like the fucking laws of the universe, right? The laws of thermodynamics, right? Like, this idea of like an opposite an opposite force, is because you're pushing one way, you're eventually going to get pushed the other way. You will. An equal and opposite force will rise. And whether it's AOC or fucking whoever, you're going to get that. I hate that this is how we have to get there, right? Because I'm not an accelerationist, because people are going to get hurt and people and children are going to die because of this shit, right? I would rather we get there like a bunch of normal fucking people and go, hey, what are the right ideas? Cool, let's vote for that, instead of fucking having people die because they don't have food or medical care. But that all being said, one thing I do know, or I will speculate, Trump is the last boomer president. That's it. There will be none after him.
Well, it's because they're all going to be dead anyway. So
no, but there's still a chance of picking some old motherfucker, like there is, right? Like some like 75-year-old person, like I'm young, right? I'm Bernie, right? I'm still spry type of shit. He's the last one. He's the last boomer president on either side, by the way, because I think, and we'll talk about it, Zohran Mamdani showed that if there's a future that you want, it exists. And it's there. Yeah, you just have to give a fuck to reach out and grab it.
We'll see if he we'll talk about him later, because I have some thoughts about the reaction to his win for sure.
He's gonna kill all of us.
Let's talk about what's in very, very broadly what's in this stupid fucking bill that they passed. So obviously, like we talked about the fact that extending tax cuts for primarily the richest among us a couple shows ago, Jay and I kind of ran down the economic impact that the tax cuts will have. And again, to pay for that, they reduce spending and eligibility for Medicaid and SNAP benefits, basically, which means millions of people are going to get straight kicked off the programs. And something that if you watched Last Week Tonight, this past weekend, a lot of people will fall off because of the additional hurdles that are being built into these programs that they then have to climb over. So they'll just kind of get frustrated by the bureaucracy of it all. You're also taking wind and solar companies and reducing the amount of tax credits they will receive, which means that adoption of those energy will be lessened by Americans. You're losing the EV tax credits. It's requiring.
Where's that America party? Where's that America party, Elon? You were talking all that shit. Get to work.
Yeah, well, again, wait until his government contracts come up, and then all of a sudden he'll change his tune. That's why that story is not even on the docket this week, because he's not worth fucking talking about.
No, not for now. Not for now.
Yep. They did strip out, the Senate did strip out the 10-year moratorium on AI regulation, which is probably the one positive that came out of the final passage of this bill, because that's going to be a pretty fucking big deal, but that's still a thing. Also, they did strip out a ban on Medicaid funding for gender affirming care. So that's, again, a small silver lining with this stuff. However, the other big kicker that we found out about today, this also provides $45 billion for immigration detention facilities and an additional $30 billion annually for ICE personnel and operations, which now makes ICE more funded than the FBI and several of the other alphabet law enforcement agencies combined, which is
and larger than the militaries of some countries, by the way.
Most countries, actually.
Yeah, most, right. There's only
most countries except for like the top 10 countries.
Yeah, except for the top 10.
Essentially. Yeah. So we are now paying our our Gestapo roundup force more than, again, the FBI is literally making, who is the terrorism prevention group. I think I know which one I'd rather give more monies to, if you're going to give money to either of them. But there you go with that. Yeah.
And by the way, just quickly, Italy, Israel, okay, the Netherlands, Brazil, and Switzerland, and everyone else besides like the big boys, their military budget is lower than ICE. Israel is in the middle of perpetual wars with a bunch of fucking countries, and their military budget isn't as big as a bunch of goddamn bounty hunters who cover their faces and harass ladies at court hearings as much money as they get. Cool. I love the fucking police state we just signed up on. Because, by the way, that gets fucking worse, right? Because ICE was almost out of money, like in the last couple of days. So now they get 30, would you say 30 or 40? What did I say?
30 billion to ICE itself, and then an additional 45 billion spent on expanding detention facilities, kind of like the concentration camp that Ron DeSantis opened up in Florida this week.
Yeah. And then $30 billion a year in general funding to them.
Yep.
Cool. Great, guys. Good job.
Good job, America. Way to go.
So the amount of people who will potentially die in these ICE concentration camps, is that more important that happened, or less important that Kamala Harris was laughed in a video a couple of times? I'm just curious.
Hey, we're all the press reports of the when Kamala Harris talked about, hey, this shit's going to happen if you elect them again, and the media said, oh, this is a lie. There's nothing to substantiate what she's saying here. Any mea culpas that you've seen from any major publications on those stories? Like, hey, like, remember when we said that she was lying back in October when we talked about this stuff? Turns out she might have been right about some of these things.
Hillary Clinton. I don't know, man. I'm not saying everybody's perfect, but in those two cases, when they talked about what was going to happen, #believe women, because they were fucking right. Both of them were absolutely correct. Every single thing they said that asshole would do in all of their debates with him and all their fucking stump speeches, they were 100% correct. But a bunch of boneheaded, dumb fuck men were like, it's a girl, bro. And so they decided to let the fucking country get lit on fire. Cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
But hey, while this was going on, Jay, you'll be super happy to learn as this was getting passed through Congress, like the most consequential piece of legislation in our lives to this point. Mm-hmm. CNN, they're like, let's actually interview Joey Chestnut. He's coming back for the hot dog eating contest this year. That's the news that people need to know.
I mean, is he going to win tomorrow? I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah. Probably. I don't give a shit. What are we talking about right now? This is fucking dumb. Also, keep that rain in America, bro, with your giant colon, I guess. I don't think people realize how fucking serious this is. And when I say people, I don't even just mean fucking American citizens, right? Because of course they don't, right? Unless you're in this shit like we are, and we're reading this shit and watching this shit all the time.
Or unless
I'm talking about people in the news media don't know. I don't think they
like the only people that apparently knew this was going to happen are liberals, or the people that are now experiencing the consequences every day of what's going on. Because you see the stories pop up, and again, this stuff doesn't get reported where people can actually see it. But if you're like us and sick freaks and go to leopards ate my face subreddit and stuff like that, like we get to see these stories all the fucking time,
all the time,
of people who like, oh shit, like I voted for this stuff. And now it boomeranged back into my face. And now I don't know if I'm going to have healthcare. I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford this medicine that I need to live. I don't know if I'm going to have a job. I don't know, all this kind of shit that's
to feed my fucking kids.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there was a story this week, not to derail this conversation. There was a story this week of a guy, a MAGA supporter, whose wife was picked up by ICE. She's gone.
Oh, I heard about this.
Gone. This dude's like, still fly the MAGA flag. I understand what the president's doing. I'm like, all right, cool, man. You're a fucking idiot. Or you hate your wife.
It's not a cult, though. It's not a cult.
They put your wife in fucking what I assume will be some sort of concentration camp is where she's going to end up. Or deported to a country she's not from, right? Because that's totally legal and fine with the fucking SCOTUS, right? So maybe she can get sent to CCOT or sent to some other fucking country to be attacked and raped and beaten. But, you got to fly that flag. Because you cannot admit that you're dumb.
Make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, Jay.
Right. Your eggs. It's your fucking family. Right. But you can't put the shit together enough to go, you know what? I probably made a mistake. I know admitting that you're wrong online is really hard, and it's definitely hard in real life. I get that. But if I supported something and in support of that, they picked up my family and put them in a fucking van and disappeared them, maybe, just maybe, I might go, I might have fucked up. Maybe put the flag down. And I hate being wrong. It doesn't happen very often, but I hate it. And even I would be like, fucking take the flag down. And it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But it's just, to me, it's a sign. It's a sign, one, you're in a cult. And your brain doesn't function very well. It doesn't function very well. I'm so sick and tired of us having, as a country, to be nice to morons who are throwing us off a fucking cliff. The news media is literally like, well, you know, this is probably not great. No, it's not that it's not great. This isn't even a financial bill completely. This is a bill that does irreparable damage to what America is, fundamentally. Fundamentally, it is. The SCOTUS made a fucking ruling today that
we'll get there. It's on the docket.
Yeah, like,
yeah. There's plenty to talk about there. Trust me.
Jesus Christ.
Speaking of abdicating responsibilities, and again, for the news media, maybe just don't print stuff verbatim that comes out of the mouths of Republicans because they're lying to you. Yeah, like Republicans have been all over TV today about this kick, like, oh, like this the Medicare changes only affect 29-year-old jobless guys that are playing video games in their mom's basement. Like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, literally 2/3 of the people in this country that are on Medicaid are employed, they work jobs, and the other third are kids or the elderly or the disabled or, you know, like people that cannot work and go hold down a fucking steady job. So, and that's why this program is there, because it's there to help subsidize those folks. Those people aren't like you're gonna fucking tell a 60-year-old who has, you know, some sort of disability, like, get the fuck back out, go to Walmart and start working the door.
Yeah, welcome to Walmart. I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop letting, you know, Republicans come on your fucking airways and lie. Also, when you talk about this stuff, and this starts at the headline and goes on down, don't just print what the administration says, because if you're just reprinting the words that they say without any context or anything like that, you're not a news agency. You're a press release.
You're a fucking stenographer at that point. Like, right. That's all you are. Here's another thing about the news media that really bothered me. This is a very important thing. This bill is very important. It is very detail heavy. It is an incredibly important thing for people to have as much information about it as possible to put in their back pocket so that they understand what is coming and what is going to happen to them. Just for today, guys, just for today, can we stop making every fucking article about this behind your fucking paywall? It would really help to get this is a thing that people need to know. And they're like, well, the bill passed. Click here to sign up to find out what's in it. Dude, come on. Come on. Some things need to be, just push it free for the masses. Just push it free for the masses, because certain things are more important than your revenue stream for one fucking article. I understand a lot of people are going to read it. Hey, if you do real reporting, more people will sign up to your fucking newspaper instead of you just putting everything behind a goddamn paywall.
Or,
please, how
alternatively,
the fuck do you not see that?
Maybe stop supporting corporate media and support independent media and independent journalism, because they're the ones that are
good.
Actually doing
that's good,
work.
By the way.
Yeah, that's good. Like
Candace Owens is independent media too. I'd like to not.
That's true. Ugh. But support independent journalism that are doing good work, that are actually reporting on the facts and not just touting, not just parroting lines coming from the administration.
And by the way, when Brad says that, we're not talking about us. I'm talking about like actual journalists, like that are on Substacks and shit like that are doing, Mehdi Hassan and shit like that, doing real shoe leather fucking journalism. Support those people. Also support us, but support those people too, right? Like that's important. My level of anger because of this bill is like, it's fucking over the moon, man. It's over the moon, because I know what's coming. Mm-hmm. And I know So I shouldn't even say that. I know some of what's coming because I didn't sit and read 900 fucking pages. Spoiler alert, almost no one did. Okay? Almost no one fucking did.
Including people that voted for it. As we found out.
Especially the people who voted for it.
Yeah.
And the fucking idiot who's going to sign it tomorrow. Right? So we need to understand that, like I was saying earlier, shit is going to come down the pipe and it is going to be fast and it is going to, no pun intended, furious in the way in which it does damage to the country. It will. And you need to be aware of, like, these things aren't happenstance. These are things in this fucking bill, man. These are things in this bill. SNAP benefits, fucking healthcare. Like, people are just not going to have food. Poor people are just not going to have food. All of the things that you say you love about America, what the fuck are they after this bill? From Republicans. What the fuck are they? You hate the people who live in the country that don't look like you. If they don't have a lot of money, you don't like them either. You fucking hate their guts. If they're women, you don't want them to have their rights to their bodies. If they're minorities, you don't want them to have fucking any rights. If they came to the country after your ancestors came to the country, they're fucking bad news. If they have kids who were born here, they're also not okay. They need to be deported. If they came illegally, they need to get the fuck out. If they came legally, they need to get the fuck out. That you don't want taxes to be higher so that you can pay for shit like quality roads and bridges and infrastructure and healthcare. You don't want taxes to be high, right? You don't want any taxes if we're being fucking honest, right? You hate innovation because that comes up with things like, vaccines and shit because you don't want to take those, but you also don't want to not have innovation because you want to say that you have the greatest healthcare in the world, but you don't believe doctors. You hate science, but except for the science that allows you to do the shit that you want to do, like get on the internet and spew hate and fucking a bunch of like dumb fucking rhetoric. You love that science, right? You love that technology, but you hate all this stuff when it's opposed to the things that you believe, right? You don't care about children. You care about people being born. That's all you care about. The second they're born, you could give a fuck.
Maxwell Frost, if you didn't get to see that banger that he laid.
Yeah, they got mad at him. I'm like,
do yourself a favor.
Like, the fuck is he saying that ain't true? So all of the things that you think, prosperity and small businesses and home ownership and opportunities, all of those things are gutted by the things that you do. So when I ask you, what do you love about this country? To quote that fucking HBO show, Newsroom, Yosemite? Like, what the fuck is it? And you'd sell that off to a corporation to do drilling if you could. You don't actually love the country. You don't. I get it. Liberals seem like they don't love it because we complain a lot. We complain a lot because we want it to be better. Not because we hate it. We want it to be better. You complain a lot because you actually don't like anything. When you're given absolute power and control, you still hate everything. And you still hate all the people in it. Because you don't fundamentally like the country. What you like is to say you like the country. You like rhetoric. You like to wear a flag because that feels fucking cool. It's not about what the fucking flag represents, about what the history of the country represents. That's the shit you don't like. I see white fucking conservatives get on TV and be like, why is Juneteenth a fucking holiday? It's the most American fucking holiday. It's the most American holiday. That full fucking citizenship to everyone who lives inside the country, who helped build it, that's the thing that you don't like. Because you don't like the country in which you live. Fuck you. And fuck the 89 million people who didn't even bother to try to keep it together. This, to me, is fundamentally the fucking fork in the road of whether or not America fucking survives. Today. This passing. Quite literally. I do not think that this is a small deal. I do not think in 2 weeks we're going to be like, well, that's the next fucking story. This shit is going to have massive fucking repercussions. There's a hospital in fucking Curtis, Idaho, or wherever the fuck that was. They were like, hey, we're the only rural hospital in this fucking area. Like, they're just us. By the way, we're closing.
In a 30-mile radius.
30-mile radius. They're the only fucking medical facility in the 30-mile radius of this rural fucking town. And they're closing because they are largely funded by Medicaid. Because nobody out there got fucking no money, bro. They're broke. And these are poor white people, right?
And by the way, that's the irony of the whole thing, is that the place that it's going to hit hardest and quickest is rural areas that voted for this fucking idiot.
Yep. That area, by the way, that is losing that hospital. And they came out and said, it is because of this bill. is because of these Medicaid cuts. We are closing. That hospital, or excuse me, that county or district that they're in, voted for Donald Trump by 74%. He won that place by 74%. And I'm not saying that those people deserve to get fucking hurt, right? The people, especially the people who did not vote for this, right? I want everybody to have medical coverage, right? Like, I want everybody to be able to go to the hospital, even if I think you're a piece of shit fucking dirtbag. I want you to still be able to go to the hospital. But this is what you get for not fucking paying attention or letting your anti-woman, anti-black bullshit rule your life, or anti-democratic bullshit rule your life. Now you're fucked. Now you're fucked. Now Meemaw broke her hip. You got to drive her ass 60 goddamn miles to find a fucking hospital. Good luck. What do you think? By the way, what do you think when that hospital closes? You think it's just the medical care? Guess what? That's probably an anchor for people having fucking jobs too. So now people don't have jobs either. Good job, dum-dums. Oh, I didn't vote for this.
And
you
it's
voted
like,
exactly for this.
Like, and you think those fucking doctors, those fucking nurses are going to go work at the fucking coal mine that you're trying to reopen? No, they'll leave your fucking state to go get a job at another hospital that's fucking open.
Yep. I mean, sorry to tell you, but guess where the place is that people are going to want to be when all this shit hits the fan? Blue cities. Blue cities in blue states. You know why? Because those are the places that actually have revenue coming in. They're generating revenue. They are not completely reliant on the federal government to survive. Not your fucking red states. They're fucked. Your little red town is fucked. Your little red city is fucked. You did it. We tried to tell you. We tried to tell you.
Ad nauseum. We tried.
Ad nauseum.
Like I said, this may be really shit at me, but like my natural instinct whenever I hear anybody complain about any of this stuff, like if I hear it in person to my face or like all my social media feeds, stuff like that, my first question every time is going to be, who'd you vote for? Wow. Because that literally is going to determine the level of empathy that I have for you.
100%. Who'd you vote for? Nobody? Go fuck yourself. Who'd you vote for? Jill Stein? Go fuck yourself twice. Who'd you vote for? Donald Trump? Get the fuck out of my face before I kick you down a hill. Like, you don't understand what you did. I saw some like douchebag fucking young dude. I don't know. I'm old. Like, young people get on my nerves, okay? But he was just like, he's just some fucking influencer or whatever, and he's in this house that's like enormous. And I guess he made his money on fucking Twitch or some shit. I have no idea. And he's like, look, bro, I just voted for Donald Trump because I just want to make more money. I'm just greedy. And now I have to pay tariffs for this new muffler for my car. And I'm like, hey, do me a favor. Why don't you get into your car? Or actually, why don't you just walk out your house, find the busiest fucking bit of traffic in your town, and just walk into it. Walk into it. Because you couldn't spend 2 seconds to think about anyone but yourself. If you still watch that guy, whoever the fuck he is, if you still watch that guy, you're an asshole. You're an asshole. Hey, this guy's telling you he's trying to fuck your country up. I don't give a shit, bro. I'm just trying to get money from me. He's an asshole, and you're an asshole if you support him. 50 Cent came out and said, I'll give $250,000 to Zohran Mamdani if he just goes away. If you buy that guy's albums or you watch his shows, you're an asshole. He is a rich person literally trying to destroy your life, and you are giving him money to do it. You're an asshole for that. Stop watching Power and all this other shit. Stop letting these people rule your life because of entertainment. Stop.
Because they don't give a fuck about you.
They don't. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, if you're gonna support these people, don't support the people who are literally going on television and online telling you they don't give a fuck. At least like the, like random rich person who's just like, I just don't say anything. I probably support this shit. But like, okay, fine, you don't know for sure. But 50 Cent is telling you, I would rather have a person who's trying to fuck you over.
It's the Chick-fil-A thing. Like, I'm sure there are tons of companies that I frequent and give money to that, have people, CEOs and executives that back the Republican Party, but they're not in my face about it. So I can have plausible deniability. Chick-fil-A is like, no, we're going to give all this money to anti-gay organizations. Well, guess what? Then I'm not buying your fucking chicken sandwich, man.
Yeah, don't I can pour pickle juice on chicken. It ain't that fucking hard. I don't need your Christian Jesus chicken. Get out of here. Yeah. I hear it's very good. So yeah, I don't know. Where are we in the docket? I'm just angry.
I mean,
the docket should have just been cool. Like angry with a link to the fucking character from.
I think it's cool for us to be angry. You know what? Let's stay angry, Jay. Let's fucking stay mad.
Let's get mad at
this shit
for a bit. Let's get mad at
Democrats, Republicans, like the whole fucking nine. So I'm pleased to tell everybody that my cynicism and my skepticism about the New York Democratic mayoral primary on the last episode was unwarranted. Not only was I wrong, I was super wrong about how this shit would go. Zohran Mamdani not only won, he beat the ever living dog shit out of Andrew Cuomo. Mamdani had the nomination sewn up by the third round of ranked choice calling.
I thought it was before at that point.
I thought it was no. So he conceded because it was clear the lead that he had on election night. Like once the ranked choice stuff got sorted out, there was no fucking way. So once they actually started counting the votes, and like, you know, re-ranking everybody based on the ranked choice thing, he had it locked in, like he was over 50% by round 3, and the final total was him beating serial sexual harasser Andrew Cuomo by 12 points. Overall, he beat him 56-44, which is an ass whooping.
Yeah, that's a draw.
Yeah, that is a fucking beatdown. Just for the record, and I was reminded of this. Eric Adams won his Democratic primary back in 2021 by less than a point.
Yeah.
And he was anointed by the media as like, oh, this is the future of the Democratic Party. This is a guy that could contend for president one day. Like this is a dude that's going to be like the face of the Democratic Party for years to come. He won his primary by less than a single point in a non-ranked choice primary.
Wait. People thought that he was going to potentially be a president one day?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
he can barely string two fucking words together. Get the fuck.
Well, we didn't know that at the time, I don't think. Like he hadn't reached peak Eric Adams at that point yet. Like he was still kind of keeping a lid on it, as it were. Mamdani wins the primary by 12 points. And the reaction to that is you would fucking think that ISIS had set up camp in New York fucking City. Not just the reaction from the right, by the way.
Nope.
But the center left, not fans of Zohran Mamdani, based on the reactions that we saw from a lot of folks in the party.
Well, it's good to know that ideologically everyone can come together to be bigoted against Muslims.
Yeah, to be racist as fuck.
For no fucking reason. Look, not a fan of the anti-Muslim shit.
It's been like the how disgusting the reaction has been in some corners of the internet. Like the reaction is going to be disgusting, like from like the worst. Like don't go on Twitter, obviously. Like that's going to be where it's absolutely the worst.
Never.
That shit's going to be fucking terrible. But like, and again, like some people who are just like center left Democrats, like Kirsten Gillibrand, like went on a fucking radio show and went on this like fucking racist screed about him, and then like tried to walk it back, being like, "Oh, I was misquoted, or they they took my words out of context." Like, bitch, we can hear you. Like there's audio of you saying
like what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
they took me out of context by playing the whole thing.
Just because you realize you fucked up doesn't mean that you were fucking misquoted. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, own that
and
shit.
and Mamdani's like being forced to, not being forced to, but like people are basically like inventing things that he said that he didn't actually say, and then like are going on the news and like talking about like, well, like what shouldn't he have to answer for this? Like he didn't say anything. Like what the fuck are you talking about? Like what do you mean he has to answer for something that he didn't say? Like Eric Adams went, did the right wing media tour after the results were announced earlier this week, and he's like, oh, like he like this guy is the most anti-Semitic person around and stuff like that. Like you should see some of the stuff that he said about anti-Semitism, and like some of the and like the anchor was like, yeah, what's like the one thing that you heard him say? And he's like, well, I don't have any specific examples, but if you look around, It's easy to find. Like you can certainly.
Oh, really?
It's
It's interesting that you don't have them. It's all right here. Like, okay, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, Mamdani winning the primary is dope. I think it's really great. I think this dude's the real deal. I do. I really do. A side note, like, just because it's just the type of person I am, and I just like to point this out. Zohran Mamdani's wife, cutie patootie. I love it. Okay, like, adorable. People seem to think he's a very handsome guy. I agree. He is handsome. He's got fucking charisma, right? Like, he's funny. He's smart. He's young. He's 33, I believe.
Well, here's the funny thing I want to say about it. So in the wake
African.
Not in the wake of
I'm just kidding.
Right, he was born in Uganda, which is why this like there's a story like there's like the New York Times
get there.
post.
We'll get there.
Okay, cool.
We'll get there.
Here's what's funny about the reaction to him, though, right? Is that in the wake of Trump winning the election back in November, the initial reaction from Democrats, especially establishment Democrats, was one of panic because they're like, "Holy shit, we ran out Joe Biden. Biden ran away. We had to quickly replace, him with Kamala Harris. We thought that Kamala Harris would be appealing. Like, people didn't turn out for her like we hoped they would.
Mm-hmm.
Democratic Party has a major problem, especially like when you looked at the crosstabs and saw like younger, like Gen Z males, especially like went for, Donald Trump in very concerning percentages and stuff like that. So like, they're like, holy shit, we are out of touch with the young people. We're out of touch with males. We need we need to find a Joe Rogan of the left. Like, we need to find ways that we can reach these people and stuff like that. And they do.
I disagree with the Joe Rogan.
Well, no, I don't mean specifically about having a Joe Rogan to the left. I mean, they need to find a way to reach
Sure.
these folks. I'm not saying you have to find a Joe Rogan character. And then here comes this guy who's a socialist democratic city councilman who runs for mayor, who kicks the shit out of one of the most well-known politicians, at the very least in that region, a former governor of that state. Shit out of him.
He's also, let us not bury the lead here. He is also the son of a very, very popular fucking governor, former governor. So like, they're a political dynasty in a lot of ways.
Right. In New York, especially.
Yeah.
And this guy, so there was some voter demographic information released in the wake of the primary.
I have it here in front of me.
Yeah. And by the way, like, so the one that you have in front of you is slightly inaccurate. The Times later issued a correction because they had some of the stats labeled incorrectly. The largest demographic turnout that voted for Mamdani were 30 to 34 year olds.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
The second largest was 18 to 25s. So holy shit, you found a guy that is able to energize and mobilize the very base of people that you want to get out. And the Democratic establishment party's reaction is, well, not like that. Not like that.
How do we knife him? How do we knife him in the back?
Yeah. Dude, again, this is the playbook. The reason why AOC was able to knock off a fucking like Joe Crandall, whatever the fuck that dude's name was, that was in Congress for 10 years and is now like the most recognizable, most popular Democratic politician in the country, not just in her fucking district, but in the country at large, is the same playbook. It's because she's authentic, she's a fighter, she speaks to the issues of normal people. She talks like she seems like a regular fucking person. She's not ultra wealthy. She's not fucking sucking up to corporate PAC dick trying to get money. Like she has a grassroots campaign. She she's in touch. She meets people where they are. Like, she's constantly on social media and finding new avenues to reach and engage people. That's the playbook. That's what you got. That's how you do it.
How do we figure it out? How did they do it? I don't know, man. They seem to not be 1,000 years old. That's it. They're just not 1,000 years old. And it's like, it's weird. I don't even think it's like, this is the playbook. It's just that they're not fucking old. And they live in the world in which,
I don't think it's that simple. I think there's a little bit more complexity than that. But again, we talk all the time on the show about the reason why Donald Trump wins is because he is perceived as he's old as dirt, but he's perceived as someone who's a fighter, who's going to go out there and fight for the little guy, and who has a populist bent to him.
Right. No, absolutely. But I do think, and this is partially this is partially responsible for my statement earlier, which is that I think that Trump is the last boomer president, right? Mm-hmm. It's because of this. It's because of this very idea. This is what people want, right? Even on the right, they're like, we love it. We love fucking Donald Trump or whatever. But make no mistake, if they got Mamdani of the right, who was like hip and fucking spoke to like 2025 human beings, right? They would flock to that person. They would, because young people want to see, much like minorities in movies, would like to see themselves up on the screen, man. They do. It's important to them. That's important to everyone. But for their entire lives, young people have only seen a reflection of their parents and their grandparents. And so they turn the fuck off. They fucking turn on the TV and there's ads for this guy. It's like, hey, do you want falafel to be fucking $8? Do you want the bus to be free? Because you guys take the bus all the time in New York and it fucking shouldn't be that expensive. By the way, we're not going to make the subway free. Knock it off. That's a lot of revenue. Like I'm doing like funny videos with people like that are social media fucking influencers, but like not douchebags. Like I'm doing like I did a fucking dance video with like some of my Ugandan friends because I was born there and I connect with that culture too because that's where I was raised until I was like 7 or 8, right? And I live in New York and there's also probably a bunch of Ugandans there as well, right? They saw themselves in him and they saw a level of genuineness like in him. And so when they see themselves in him, they flock to it. You're right. Trump gives that same thing. It's actually not genuine, right? Because he's a fucking blue blood from New York.
Well, but the racism is genuine.
Exactly. That part is real. And they saw somebody that would say the same shit that they say in private. They saw that in him and they flocked to him. It actually isn't that hard to understand. You just have to be willing to recognize that young people who are part of your constituency that you want have different priorities than you have as these older Democrats. If you can understand that and get the fuck out of your own way and go, oh shit, I'm 107 years old and all these young people really like this guy?
Time to retire, maybe. Maybe not stake my entire identity on the job that I have.
Right. But even if you don't want to retire, start fucking pushing these fucking kids up. That's what you should be doing. Pelosi waited too long to get Jeffries where he was. She did. She waited too long. She should have probably retired, I don't know, fucking 7-8 years ago. Maybe even longer.
He should have been the Speaker of the House when Joe Biden first became president.
Yeah, absolutely. That should have been the time where she's like, cool, the country's in good hands. It's time for me to fucking, you go. You got it, big dog. And that should have been the way that played. Because guess what? If Jeffries, who's not like the best of like rah-rah speakers, he really isn't, but, see all of the last number of days. I've got a little bit. But if you start to show people, yeah, we're putting people who look like you up front, like the fighting of AOC to take a prominent role in that party is to their detriment. Dude, you put her out front, that party is going to ignite because they want to follow behind her. They do. They like her. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, let's all get behind Bernie. Bernie is 1,000 years old. I like Bernie just fine, right? But he is not the future. He is the past of the far left. He is.
And he'll tell you that, by the way, too. Like, it's not like
Bernie's he needs to fucking retire. He needs to retire. Yeah. Right? His level of arrogance of like not wanting to fucking let it go did more damage than I think people fucking want to admit. Quite honestly. Because he shouldn't have been in that fucking race 2020. He shouldn't have been in that race. He shouldn't have been. Mm-hmm. He should have let that shit. He should have let Warren run it, and he should have just fucking been like, "That's the shit," and he should have stayed the fuck out of it. But he had, look. They all have ego, right? Like, that's a problem, right? All politicians have ego, even the ones you love, even AOC. They all have ego. But the point is, if you're an older politician, your job should be to be like, "Hey, come on under this wing. Let me show you all the tricks of the trade, and I'm gonna push you up, and I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. That should be your mode. But what they do instead is go, let me show you all the tricks of the trade. Cool, you got them? Cool. I'm sticking around for 10 more years. And then they can drag my dead corpse out of here. You're like, what? Why? Like, this seems stupid. But that's what they do. Mamdani is a moment for you as the Democratic Party to go, you got it, bro. Like, to me, Cuomo fighting him in the way that he fought him was a mistake. That was a mistake. Like, one, you shouldn't have been in the fucking race at all. But to fight him on like the Muslim shit and like photoshopping his face and all that, you took away your opportunity to go, hey man, this young guy's got it. When you lose the race, you can't back him now. You can't back him because it seems insane.
And he's not either.
Of course he's not.
Because he actually, though he has not declared that he's going to run independent in the general, he's keeping his options open. Like he filed to be able to if he wants to, essentially.
That's insane. That's insane to me. I mean, by the way, if you run, you do realize that you and Eric Adams are just fighting for the same D-bags, and then you'll just destroy each other. And Mamdani is like, I'll just walk on in. Thanks, guys.
Let me fucking moonwalk into Gracie Mansion. Thank you very much. So.
Yeah, thanks, dummy. Like, but if he had not gone at him in the way that, look, you can disagree, like, oh, I'm not a socialist, a democratic socialist or whatever. You can go at him on that if you want. But to go at him and be like, you're an anti-Semite, you're a fucking scary Muslim and all this other shit, you destroy your opportunity as an elder statesman to go, hey man, we disagreed, but guess what? I'm putting the wind to your back.
You're also operating under the assumption that Cuomo was ever going to be that guy in the first place.
No, but what I'm saying is, of course. But what I'm saying is, if the Democratic Party wants to compete and they want to do like have power going forward, you have to do that. And Democrats, look, Republicans have this issue too, but Republicans, ironically, are totally fine with keeping a bunch of old people fucking forever. Democrats are not. Because, in fact, I know Republicans call themselves this. They're not. But Democrats are the big tent party. And so there are more young people coming up. And they're like, yo, where are the people who look like me? Everyone here is 75 fucking years old.
Yeah, but like for Republican voters, it's not about representation. It's about, like we said, it's about racism. Like, hey, are you racist enough against the people that I don't like? Cool, you can stick around. It doesn't matter if you're Chuck Grassley and you're 89 years old running for a 6-year Senate term.
Unfucking believable. So, yeah, by the way, the 18 to 24 demographic, if that still holds with your update that we were talking about, it was 3 times as high.
That part is true. They underrepresented the 30 to 34 because the original data that came out made it look like 18 to 25 was the largest group.
Yes,
that voted. So that wasn't true, but the 3-time jump, like the 3x jump from 2021, is still correct.
Yeah. So a 3x jump for 18 to 24 year olds
in terms of turnout.
In terms of turnout is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. That's not for Andrew Cuomo. Like, it's not.
No,
it's not. I can't wait to vote for this serial sexual.
And by the way, like what? And I know we talked about it last week, but again, I have to just reiterate what a great endorsement of ranked choice voting in general. Because watching Mamdani and Brad Lander campaign together, like in the late stages of the fucking campaign, was fucking amazing, and probably helped Mamdani out a lot from people who might have bought into the anti-Semite rhetoric a little bit, like having a New York Jew at his side being like, no, like vote for me first, but also this guy's pretty fucking cool too. Is obviously like very helpful. So
yeah, I just to me again, I said this last week. You're going to start to hear calls are like, we got to get rid of ranked choice voting. Like from Democrats, from Republicans, 100%. Get this 100%. Shit the fuck out of there. It should be everywhere. It should be nationwide. It should be. And it should be in the presidential race.
It's literally the most democratic way that you can vote.
Yeah. Because look, you get your Jill Scott bullshit.
You get your cake and eat it too, is how ranked choice voting is.
Jill Scott, she's the fucking best. She only shows up every 4 years. It's awesome. I love her. Oh, also Kamala Harris. Oh, look, Kamala Harris won. Yeah, shocking news. Because she's the real candidate. Yeah. So good. But it also gives, like we talked about last week, it also gives third-party candidates a real chance. It gives them a real fucking chance.
It gives them the only chance they would have. I still don't know that I'd call it a real chance per se. But
here's the thing. Here's the thing. If your person gets knocked out, Like if your person gets knocked out because they just for some reason just completely underperforms, and you have a third party candidate who's just doing a little bit better, they should just a little bit better. They get all of that, right? They can potentially get all of that momentum and help them push up and get a real chance. So to me, it's just this idea of the Democratic Party being afraid of him. Like you said, the blueprint is there. The fuck are you mad about? How do we figure this out? He did. He's right there. The Indian Ugandan guy who eats with his hands. Oh my God. He figured it out.
But again, it just goes to show you that for a lot of folks, the goal is actually not making people's lives better. It's about, I got to maintain power. They don't see him as the future. They view him as a threat. Yeah.
No, that's actually a very good point. You're absolutely right about that. And obviously Cuomo is a absolute example of that. And, Kirsten Gillibrand and all these other ones are absolutely, in that camp. And by the way, I think she's up for re-election in 2026, I believe. So
that sounds right, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I hope Brad Lander primaries the shit out of her, because I think Brad Lander himself has a future in New York politics as well. Sure.
Yeah, good. Look, get her the fuck out of there. By the way, Trump and his supporters are like, we're going to look into whether or not we can deport Mamdani. They are fucking terrified of him. They are fucking terrified of him.
Of course, in much the same way they're terrified of AOC. That's why they talk about her all the time.
Yeah, and by the way, you should be, but not for the reasons you think. You should be. If you're on the right, you should be afraid of them because they provide something that you cannot. True populism with a plan to get things done.
It's populism through policy, through actual policy, and not just through rhetoric.
Right. It is one thing to be popular or be a populist candidate, because that can be good or bad depending on who you are. See White House. But it's another to then have policies that back that shit up, that are actually helpful. They should be afraid of them, and they should be afraid of AOC. So, yeah. Trying to deport people who just politically disagree with you. How very what's the term? Russian of you. There you go. Okay, that's the end of the free portion for this week's episode of Look Forward. Make sure you go to lookforwardshow.com/premium. Sign up for premium content. It's only $5 a month or $50 for the full year.